I'm fairly certain that this BLT has forever altered my brain chemistry. See, I'm somebody who never really enjoyed tomatoes, and this recipe just completely changed that. This is probably the most simple and balanced sandwich in existence. Here's how to make it. The perfect BLT has a balance between each of the core 4 ingredients. The bread needs to be tasty, crispy, and in my opinion, a little greasy. This can be achieved by toasting it in butter or olive oil, but I just throw it in the same pan after the bacon's cooked. This is a tasty loaf from a local bakery, but this could just as easily be Wonder Bread and it would still be delicious. Just don't pick something that's gonna be way overpowering, something like a rye I don't think would work for this. Stick with something like white bread or sourdough and you're gonna be having a really good time. Now for the tomatoes. These need to be juicy, sweet, and a little acidic. I've come to learn just how important this is for the flavor of the sandwich, but the difference between a good tomato and a bad tomato is astronomical. Be sure to get one that's in season and quite tasty. Heirlooms are great here if you can get them, but often summer beefsteak tomatoes are just as good. Slice these medium thin. I don't want a massive slab of tomato to slide out on my sandwich, and season both sides of the slices with salt and pepper. This is super, super important. You don't want under-seasoned tomatoes because those just kind of fall flat, and I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people just don't like tomatoes outright. For the lettuce, this could be iceberg, romaine, or butter. Pick something crisp and not bitter here. That's really the important thing. The lettuce is really there for tons of texture, and a large pile is nice for that. I'm not always on board for shredded lettuce, but I do think it's the right choice for this sandwich. For the sauce, you could totally just use mayo and have a great time. Pick something good like Kewpie, Blue Plate, or Duke's. Sorry, Miracle Whip, you're just not invited here. Mix this with chili crisp, hot sauce, sriracha, mustard, or pesto for a totally different vibe each time. Today, I felt like pesto. Amounts are gonna be totally up to you. I can't tell you how much mayo to put on a sandwich. What I will say though is to the mayo haters out there, just put a little bit. It's gonna be imperative to have some fat in the sandwich. I once got sick in high school when I ate what I thought was an ice cream cone. It turned out to be a cone full of mayo, and I pretty much didn't touch mayo for like 10 years after that. I really understand the depths of hatred for mayo that some people have. Like, I was one of those people. At a certain point, it just clicked and I realized there's really no other good way to bring fatty creaminess to things like burgers and sandwiches. If you don't like the little bit of tang that mayo has, just don't use a lot. Just use like a little bit of a smear. It's gonna be way better than if you left it off. I promise you, like I promise you it's worth it. Crisp up your bacon in a pan over medium heat. I usually start my bacon in the pan once I turn the burner on so the fat can begin to render before I need to flip them. I wanted to try using a burger press to keep the bacon from curling up, but it doesn't really do much. I mean, it works, but I kind of like when my bacon has some fattier, chewier spots. So I probably won't keep doing that. Keep your heat around medium-low, as once the fat leaches out, it can start to smoke really easily. We want to keep this from burning so we can toast our bread in it. Take out your bacon and place your bread in the pan so it can begin to soak up a ton of that fat. I believe the British call this fry bread, and man, it is so, so good. Cook it till it's crispy on that first side, and then we can start building this beauty. On the bottom piece, smear on the pesto mayo, pile on the lettuce, and then top it with those seasoned tomatoes. I think 2 layers of thinnish tomato slices is perfect here. Place your bacon on top. This is just 2 pieces sliced in half, and load up the top slice of bread with more sauce. I do think it's a crime to only sauce 1 piece of bread here. Crown your beautiful achievement and feast your eyes on the sandwich that completely changed my mind on tomatoes. I get it now. I absolutely understand why people eat and enjoy tomatoes the way that they do. I'm not joking when I say this like changed and created a new pathway in my brain. I get it. Now that it's summer and it's warm out, this is pretty much what I crave every single day for lunch. It's got all of the crispiness from that fried crunchy bread. It's got juiciness. It's got fattiness from the mayo. You can kind of customize it to any flavor that you want, be it spicy, mustardy, or pesto. I told my wife, this is probably the best sandwich I've ever had. Massive shout out to the amazing people supporting me directly on Patreon through patreon.com/CameronMarty. They get some cool benefits for supporting the channel, and I get to keep making videos like this, so check it out and consider becoming a patron. If not, consider subscribing. That support means a ton to me as well. Now, for the people who are in need of a full-on dinner recipe that's a little bit more involved, check out this cavatelli. It's pretty simple to make, as the pasta itself only takes 2 ingredients, and it comes out super, super delicious, and you get this beautiful homemade pasta that you can share to all your friends. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and like the video if you're into that. Cheers.